Yo, what up gamers, welcome to my NILAH guide. I'm a Master Tier ADC main and today I'm going to be showing you how to play the newest ADC, NILAH. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with future guides and the best educational ADC content on YouTube. Alright, so as we get into lane here, main thing you want to know about NILAH is you're going to be spamming your Q pretty much off cooldown. Whenever she lands her Q, she gains extra range. I can't remember how much you actually gain, but you put your range to about 325 or 350. From melee range, so it's, it's still really small for an ADC, but definitely a vast improvement. It doesn't matter whether you hit a champion or you hit minions. Hitting anything with your Q will increase your range, even turrets. And not only that, but it also increases the damage of your auto attacks and also makes them do damage in an AoE. Minions take reduced damage from the AoE, but champions will take full damage, and it just means that each target will take the same damage from each auto as your main target, I believe. So second, we're gonna take our E. It's only very, rarely that you'd benefit more from taking W second. Your W blocks auto attacks. It's basically Jax E, but without the stun. Oh, my bad there. Also gives you extra movement speed. Reduces magic damage taken by 25%. And also, any ally that you happen to walk through, basically, while you're affected by your W, they will also gain the effects for 1.5 seconds. Which is slightly less than how long it affects you. But mainly this is a very defensive tool, and honestly if you have to use this at level 2, you're probably already losing lane. So ideally you just want to be in a position where you would be able to level E. However, if you are getting stomped, you may want to consider leveling the W instead, just to preserve your HP bar a bit. We started with the Doran's shield here. Since we're facing off against the Lux, get a lot of easy harass. As you can see, we're also facing another NILAH. This is blind pick, because there's no other way to get NILAH right now. She's permanently banned. And she should have also taken Doran's shield just to counteract the Seraphine poke, but she didn't. We're also running the second wind, and because of this, we can just soak up all of this Lux poke, and you can see we're just in a much better position than this NILAH, who's just going to be an easy kill for me there, thanks to the Seraphine setup. So naturally, as NILAH, you have a hard time avoiding poke on bot lane. It's just, you're melee, even when you're affected by Q, which is, to be honest, most of the time. You still have really low range. It's really hard to avoid poke if you want to be auto-attacking. So you just have to accept the fact that you're going to be taking a lot of poke. And so things like Doran's shield and second wind, they can really help you get through laning phase. I definitely advise taking second wind at least whenever you're facing double ranged bot. Or at least like a ranged support. And same thing really for Doran's shield. You can definitely consider Doran's blade more if you're facing a melee support, like let's say a Nautilus. Depends on the matchup really, but if the enemy ADC can't really harass you too well because of your support, like if they can't do much to you unless their support is engaging, then Doran's blade can be fine. And in that case, I would also recommend just running conditioning instead of second wind. Yeah, NILAH Z is a dash. It's just a dash. It does nothing but dash and deal damage. But it does also have a 2-charge system, so potentially... Oh. So we're just going to activate W here as NILAH goes in on me, and she's going to do the same. It's a really stupid... I'm really tired of playing this matchup in normals. It's just constantly both of us pressing W and neither of us can take damage. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Getting another kill thanks to the double dash. Awesome. So this is the first time, by the way, that I'm testing Berserker's Greaves on NILAH first back. It does already seem pretty good. That was pretty nice just to keep up with the enemies, get into position for my E. You do also just naturally do a lot of auto attack damage, so I think the attack speed is very good. Definitely feel like it's maybe gonna be a thing on NILAH. We'll see. But definitely just got me the kill there. I don't think I would have had that kill with just Noon Quiver. Maybe we can potentially... Oh, no, okay, yeah. Nice kill for Seraphine there again. Alright. Just gonna get out of here now. Or am I? This could just be another kill. Yeah, alright, awesome. And Seraphine thanks to the turret, so... Alright. Really over-aggressive from Lux there. Setting us off to a really good start. So as for supports you want to pair NILAH with, this is the third game in a row technically that I've been paired with Seraphine. However, the first two were remakes. But in those first two remakes, we started off stomping the lane just like this. and that was a vast turnaround from when I was playing NILAH with Rel. And looking at win rates, it does seem like she benefits a lot from enchanters. Seraphine seems to be one of the best, but also stuff like Yuumi, Senna, Soraka, Sona, you know, all that kind of stuff seems to work really well for NILAH. Especially if they can have some early pressure in lane, it's really good for NILAH in order for the enemies to not just be able to completely abuse her without her being able to fight back if they can outrange her. So in this case, like for example, the Seraphine is doing most of the trading, and I'm just there to like clean up basically. And that's a pretty good like separation of roles that you can have when you have a melee bot. It's nice to have a range support, because otherwise the only option is to engage, and if you can't engage, you're gonna have a tough time, especially at the level 1, where usually you can't engage. Lux is also... oh. And we can maybe still try and make an engage here. Lux is kind of out of position after having to dodge that. Just gonna ignore the NILAH. Okay. Okay, wow. Yeah, that was my ultimate. That's an ultimate that basically does damage for like 1 second. And then it pulls all the enemies in, sort of like the Ana ult. And then it also heals you based off the damage dealt. So the main thing that I wanted there was this EC. Just completely clumped them up there. That was pretty brutal. It also set them up in a way that my Q passive, the AoE, was just doing damage to both of them. Just completely destroyed them there. Yeah, sorry, as I was saying, Lux is also pretty good with NILAH. I think it's one of the best supports for NILAH. What NILAH's passive that I haven't mentioned yet is she amplifies, I believe, heals by 10% and shields by 20%. And so naturally, when you're paired with any kind of shielding support, that's gonna like be really, really good. That's also why she really benefits from Seraphine and Sona, because they provide shielding and healing. In Lux's case, it's only shielding, but it's still pretty good on top of the other benefits that Lux provides. You also get to basically the extra 10% or 20% that you give yourself. You also give it to your ally. Like if they shield you, for example, the 10%. You are adding it to them. It's really hard to explain. They don't get the full value of their shield, right? But they do gain that like 10% value that you're adding on. Or 20% for shield, sorry. NILAH's other passive, by the way, is that whenever you lost hit a minion, and you know when you're sharing CS with somebody or in the same lane as somebody else as you lost hit, you only get 75% of the XP of the minion, right? Between the two of you. So NILAH takes 50% of that missing XP and gives it to both of you. To both NILAH herself and whoever's in the lane with you. So basically, you and your support both get a lot more XP. You don't really notice it here because I'm, you know, also against another NILAH. And we have a really big lead anyway. But you're not going to be so far behind compared to... ooh. Okay. You're not going to be so far behind compared to solo laners or junglers as you would be on other ADCs, and neither will your support. Also means that it's... wow, I got blocked into that ultimate. It also means that you're going to be very... just naturally, you're going to be very synergist with scaling supports. So, you know, like the Yuumi, like the Sona, those supports were just... oh, hang on. I think she's batting off a little more than Xingqiu here. Oh, come on. Alright, sick. That was actually epic. I just dashed onto her to get onto Lux. That worked out for the best. But yeah, supports like Yuumi, supports like Sona. Man. Man, I still have no idea what Bel'Veth does, by the way. I don't know if I should be running. I don't know if I should be fighting her. I don't know what her damage does. I don't know what that spinning or like really fast thingy was about. Anyway, yeah, supports like Yuumi, supports like Sona, you know, supports that scale really well with levels. You're going to be very good paired with them. Naturally, you're not going to be quite as good paired with, well, not melee supports necessarily, but early game focus supports who don't benefit as much from the levels. The better your champion's abilities benefit from being ranked up, which is basically just healers for the most part on the support role, the better they are going to synergize with NILAH. But I think naturally as well, you do just benefit a lot more from healers and shielders, not just because of your passive, but also because that's just generally what melee champs would want anyway on the bot lane. And so the fact that you have all these extra passives just further enabling those kind of champions, it just makes it a no-brainer to want these champions as your support. As you can see, my wave clear, oh, it's pretty good. Oh man. Close. We can maybe still get them. Okay, she died. There we go. Yeah, man, this is quite a bit of a stomp. This is the stompiest game I've had so far in NILAH. I think it definitely is related to having the Seraphine now instead of like, an engaged support like Rel. It's definitely a lot better at enabling you in lane, I feel like. The Doran's shield has also been a massive improvement. In earlier games, I was running Doran's blade. And from the first game, I instantly realized this was a mistake to run this into double range bot. What an experience I would like to never repeat again. Anyway, so for our mythic, we already went for the shield bow, by the way, forgot to mention that. Shield bow is going to be your only option as your mythic for NILAH, unless there turns out to be some like really weird, like, I don't know, like Triforce NILAH or something like that. I'm not saying it's good, I'm just saying, you know, there's a possibility for something really unexpected like that to pop up, or lethality or something. Probably not, because she does benefit a lot from crit, but you know, I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna rule it out. But as far as crit mythics go, you absolutely only want the shield bow. It's the only sensible option, because you know you're a melee champion. You want that survivability, you want that healing, you want the sustain, you want the dueling power. It just has everything you could possibly want. And Kraken Slayer, sure, damage is nice, but you know you're a melee champion. You don't have the liberty that range champions have to actually use that DPS. So just stay away from that. Stay away from the Gale Force. Just only stick to shield bow. Aside from that, we're going to be trying out the Essence Reaver this game. Most people at the moment are just using Phantom Dancer, but I think that will change soon. I think probably Essence Reaver is going to be her best second item by far. Maybe Collector as well, since she gains so much free armor pen from her Q. By the way, I haven't talked about that yet, but you gain a lot of armor pen basically through crit chance. If you build crit, you gain armor pen up to a max of, I think, 33%. So you basically don't even need Lord Dominic's. And it also just gives you some natural synergy with lethality, which is why Collector might be okay. You probably wouldn't want to build any other lethality items though, just because you know, you have to actually build crit to get that, and Collector is the only crit lethality item. So it might have a place on her, maybe not, we'll see. It seems to be probably the second best choice though, if you're not going Essence Reaver. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's even the first best choice, or maybe I'm wrong, maybe Phantom Dancer will actually reign supreme. We'll have to wait and see over time, but at the moment I'm leaning more towards the Essence Reaver second item here. It's very spammable, it ensures that you never run out of mana. It's not like you exactly have mana issues as NILAH, because even though you spam, you know, just the ever-living crap out of Q, you just don't run out of mana because it's such a low mana cost ability. However, you really do need to be casting it all the time. You're so useless if you don't hit your Q, because you don't get the extra range, you don't get the extra damage, you don't get the AoE. So if you ever are out of mana in a team fight, that's a disaster. Even as a melee auto attacker, it's still a disaster. It's not like when you're playing an ADC like Twitch. If you're out of mana, you know, at least you can still auto attack. But your auto attacks are just gonna be doing so much less damage, right? So the Essence Reaver gonna be doing a lot of damage just by being procced a lot, gonna ensure you're always able to cast Q. And we'll give you some CDR as well, so in case you happen to miss your Q. Alright, I thought that Aurelia might get a bit sassy there. Yeah, in case you ever happen to miss your Q, by the way, it's not ideal. Kind of sucks, because then you're kind of useless and you probably don't want to fight until you can actually get your Q back up and try again. Oh. Oh, come on. Alright, somebody will kill Lux, surely. Yep, nice. There we go. Yeah. So basically, whenever you miss your Q in a fight or something, usually a lot of the time you will just want to disengage until your Q is back up and you can try again. So the CDR from Essence Reaver really helps in that case. You can just try again, like 0.4 seconds sooner, which in the middle of a team fight can be, you know, quite a lot. Then after that, you know, it's just standard crit itemization. You'll want to go for the Essence Reaver. Fourth item, generally, typically I go for the Bloodthirster. That's what I've been enjoying so far. She gets a lot of healing as well, by the way. That's also another thing she gets out of building crit. Is she gets She gets, I think, like 2% lifesteal per 15% crit. I don't know, something like that. You know, they'll help her stay in fights. So the Bluster just really helps with that as well. Anyway, that's going to be it for this game. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with future guides and all the rest of my educational ADC content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, gamers.